that the manner in which someone votes somehow has an effect on the outcome of an election. And we have seen that is not true.
Utah's Democratic Party responded to the post saying mail-in voting allows rural voters, night shift nurses, and parents without childcare to vote. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News. This holiday weekend, TSA agents are warning American travelers to prepare for possible long lines as summer travel season continues.
The TSA is warning travelers for major crowds over the Juneteenth holiday. They're asking them to prepare for those crowds, especially Sunday, June 21st, as they could see about 3 million people pass through airport security nationwide. And for comparison, that is on par with some of the busiest Thanksgiving travel days. Officials say they're staffed and ready, but are urging travelers to arrive at the airport early.
ABC's Stephanie Ramos reporting. Your money at this moment. The markets are closed for Juneteenth, but they ended on a strong note yesterday. The Dow gained 72 points. The S&P was up over 1%, 80 points up. The NASDAQ almost a 2% increase. They gained 496 points, and oil $76 a barrel. Coming up, we have a heat advisory in effect. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:01.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
The Management Minute is a service of the MBA program in the John M. Huntsman School of Business at Utah State University. I'm Professor Scott Hammond. There are about 4,000 books a year published about leadership. 99% of them are written by self-proclaimed experts who see leadership as a fire that burns within. They assume that leadership is located in us, in the head and in the heart. Well, they're wrong. Leadership, like love, is a co-creation. It requires a relationship. It is found in the space between people. It is a series of behaviors, not traits of an individual. Leaders don't fly solo. They need a co-pilot and a crew. They need to collaborate. Learn more about leadership in an MBA from Utah State University. Go to utahstatemba.com. That's utahstatemba.com. I'm Scott Hammond. Hope to see you in one of our classes.
Is your financial advisor managing your risk or just a spreadsheet? Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. Many financial advisors rely on target date funds, which are one-size-fits-all portfolios that don't know your name, your family, or your goals. And that passive management can leave you dangerously exposed. At Trajan, we look at the whole picture, not just the stocks everyone else buys, but the private market opportunities most advisors ignore. And as fiduciaries, we build a strategy around you, coordinating your investments, tax strategy, and estate into one cohesive plan. Your financial life deserves more than just a generic portfolio. Real planning isn't a stack of statements. It's the confidence of knowing where your income will come from for the next 30 years. Good enough isn't good enough for your family. It's time for a change. Schedule your complimentary consultation today. Call 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Private equity investments require accreditation. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at trajanwealth.com.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. Here's Ricky Meese.
We still have right lanes blocked due to a rollover crash southbound State Street, 3300 South in South Salt Lake. Continue to watch for emergency crews at the scene directing you through the area. But Valley Freeway traffic all clear and looking good. Logan is the summer escape you didn't know you needed, where the mountains meet Main Street with outdoor adventures by day and standing ovations by night. Explored Logan.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
We've got a hot day ahead of us, a high of 97 degrees and partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow is looking warm as well with a high of 89, but it will feel pretty darn good compared to today, and there are potential thunderstorms in the afternoon. Right now, it's 75 degrees and partly cloudy in Salt Lake City. I'm Britt Johnson from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
I played that a little too soon, didn't I?
We're having so much fun today already.
Well, today we're getting close to primary election. We're 4 or 5 days away. President Trump is once again taking a shot at Utah. This time for its use of vote by mail, which Holly,
it's so dumb. Let me just say it's so dumb.
Right.
But the president did make a slew of comments about our elections process on Truth Social. He said that vote by mail forces states to vote more to the left.
Well, it hasn't happened here in Utah. At least not this century. I mean, come on, let's give it a break. I'm a Democrat. I vote Democratic most of the time, most of the time, let's say. And it doesn't seem to be affecting anything. In fact, we haven't had a statewide Democrat elected in Utah this century.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Period.
I can't even remember. In fact, I don't think I voted in an election in Utah where a Democrat won a statewide election. That's been such a long time. But that's actually what Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson is also saying, that Utahns love vote by mail and the Republican Party. So it's like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this?
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, he posts this thing. He says, it seems as though the great state of Utah, which I won each time handily, is going to the all-mail-in ballot format of Colorado, which is not true.
So let's just stop right there and just say we've been there for a while.
We lead the league. I mean, we've done such a good job.
Pre-pandemic, by a number of years.
Mail-in, and he says that always, when states do that, they always head left as soon as the move is made.
And then he says we should stop Utah from doing this.
Yeah, I know. So, and then he says it creates a big advantage to dumb-ocrats whose only road to victory because their policies are so insane is cheating.
Anyway, he said terminate the filibuster and or pass the Save America Act, which I think is really what he wants to get to. That's the Mike Lee thing that doesn't have the votes. So one of the things, again, you just have to look at it and say, okay, vote by mail in Utah has resulted in supermajority Republican legislature, a win for Donald Trump every time he's run.
Yeah.
Even when Joe Biden won the national election, Trump won Utah, right? But now somehow it's advantaging the Democrats.
Yeah, I don't understand what his purpose is. I mean, why Utah? Why even mention Utah? Because he does so well here. Republicans do so well here. Our legislature has a supermajority. Our governor has been held by a Republican for, I don't know, at least 30 years. I think the last Democrat we had in a statewide office was the Attorney General in the 90s. Seriously.
That would have been Jan Graham. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. Yep.
I mean, that was like before I was paying attention to politics, I have to be honest.
We've had a Democrat congressional representative, but for a statewide.
Right, but not for statewide.
Yeah. Not a Democrat.
I remember Bill Orton winning down in Utah County, and I do remember that race because it was so unusual. There were weird attacks and all kinds of funky things, but he won down in Utah County. That's been the last time a Democrat has won a congressional race in Utah County, I think.
Yeah, Jim Matheson held a position
up
for
here.
a little while up here, and Ben McAdams held it once. Yeah. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Anyway, we're hardly pushing left. I'll just say that. So it's interesting to me that it feels like, in fact, I think you see this with the primary battles going on. The president, who is the de facto head of the Republican Party, maybe he's not just de facto, I mean the actual head of the Republican Party for the United States, is attacking Republicans, and he's attacking reliably Republican states like Utah.
So let me ask you this: does the let's say he said he wants the what does he want done? The program that
the filibuster or the
the Save America Act. I'm sorry. Does the Save America Act prevent mail-in voting? Okay.
It does. It prevents early voting. It prevents mail-in voting, with few exceptions. There are very few exceptions, but they want same-day, in-person voting only.
Yeah.
That's one of the issues. Of course, there's proving citizenship and identity. That's part of it as well. But part of it is getting rid of vote by mail.
Okay. Well, I mean, hopefully that doesn't happen. I mean, you would expect even Republicans, although Mike Lee's big on the Save America Act.
He's the sponsor, and he's the one promoting it and continuing to say this is the most important issue of our time. And he just doesn't have the votes in the Senate, right? And I know Senate leadership has said to him, "You just don't have the votes." And it makes me think of that Hamilton song, "You don't have the votes."
I don't remember that. But Mike Lee should be happy. The mail-in voting has gotten him elected by a landslide every time.
Right. So the lieutenant governor, of course, she has been defending Utah's mail-in voting system. And she said her actual response was, in Utah, we believe in the power of and. We can be a supermajority Republican state and vote by mail. Since implementing vote by mail, Utah went from having one of the lowest voter participation rates in the country to one of the highest. Although Utahns have the options to vote either by mail or in person, over 90% of voters choose to return their ballots via the U.S. Postal Service or a secure drop box. The fact is, a majority of Utahns appear to love both vote by mail and the Republican Party.
Yeah, so vote by mail has not hurt Republicans in Utah.
Not in
At least
Utah.
I think that's her take, and it probably won't. I mean, the only thing that the Save America Act will do in terms of Utah is have a smaller turnout, but the percentages I don't believe will change at all.
For Republican versus Democrat?
Right.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah, I think that the numbers will be about the same over percentage-wise, but we'll just have less people vote. I mean, I don't know. I used to enjoy going to the polling location and standing in line and stepping in the little booth, but I love vote by mail. It's so much easier, and I think it encourages more people to vote.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I vote every cycle, but I know I vote every cycle when it's mail-in.
Right. And, we've had it. I think we introduced it in 2013. So we had it at least as a pilot program for some rural counties to say, let's go to all vote by mail. In fact, instead of an opt-in, you had to opt out, basically take your ballot to the voting location if you want to. But what we saw was that big increase, as you mentioned, in voter turnout, voter participation, because if you're working a swing shift or you are a busy family or you have sick kids on election day, right? You're not going to put your sick child in a stroller to go down and stand in line for hours if everybody's voting in person so that you can cast your ballot. You're just not going to do it.
And do you remember the audit that was done on vote by mail?
Yes.
It proved that it was incredibly accurate.
Yeah, very accurate.
The incident of voter fraud was almost nothing.
Well, speaking of voter fraud, actually, we have to talk about this. AI deepfake ads are affecting the ongoing midterms.
Radicalized white men are the greatest domestic terrorist threat in our country.
White men.
So true. So true.
That's a fake ad, by the way. We're going to break down new research from UVU that looks at how deepfake videos like that one featuring James Tallarico of Texas are affecting how voters vote. Stay with us.
Hey, I have to give a shout out to Soda Diet Nutrition because I hooked up with them a couple of months ago to help me lose some weight. It wasn't a lot of weight. It was just something I thought I needed to do because I couldn't get it off myself. And it was between 25 and 30 pounds. And I just hooked up with them and said, look, can you do something for me? I don't know that I want to go see a doctor and get on medication or injections. They said, yeah, we'll line you up with a plan. And it's all food-based that you can go to your a grocery store and purchase. You don't need to purchase anything through us, but we'll give you a plan. I have a nutritionist that calls me every Wednesday. How's it going? And even now that I've reached my target weight, which I did I lost over 4 pounds a week for 7 weeks. It was incredible. Got down to the weight I wanted to get to, and it's been working out very well. I'm happy with where I am right now. I'm happy to be wearing clothes that I haven't been able to wear for a couple of years. I'm happy to be wearing slacks that I haven't been able to put on without cheating a little bit, and it's been great. I love the way I look. I love the way I feel. My wife is happy with everything that's going on, and I'm going to stay with SOTA Diet Nutrition throughout this maintenance period as long as it takes. SOTA Diet Nutrition, SOTA, say it with me, state of the art.
There's nothing like getting outside, moving, and enjoying time with friends. Utah offers endless ways to get outdoors and stay active. Pickleball, hiking, biking, and more. Staying healthy is fun if you do it safely. Intermountain Health recommends taking time to stretch, warm up, stay hydrated, and pace yourself. These small steps keep activities safe and enjoyable for everyone. Because when you make health and safety part of every activity, you're taking care of what matters most: your life, your health.
This is Colin Keary from the New Millennium Group. Have you ever had a question for your financial advisor only to find out that the next available appointment is months away? At New Millennium Group, we believe that financial advice should never be limited to once-a-year review meetings. Life happens every single day. Markets change, retirement questions come up, family situations evolve, and when they do, you deserve answers. That's why we pride ourselves at the New Millennium Group on being accessible when our clients need us most. Whether you're wondering about your investments or a major life decision, our team is here to help provide guidance. We're not interested in being the firm you hear from once a year. We want to be your trusted resource throughout your entire retirement journey. If you're looking for a financial team that values relationships, communication, and responsiveness, we'd love to meet you. Give us a call today at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or visit us at utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Do you know how to tell if a clogged drain is something to worry about or not? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and I understand it's annoying and inconvenient, but sometimes a clogged drain can be a sign there's a more serious issue with your sewer main line. If the drains in the lowest level of your home aren't draining, or you flush a toilet and it comes up somewhere else like a shower or a floor drain, I'm urging you to look at this as more than just an annoyance. The last thing I want you to experience is a sewer backup. If you're a homeowner experiencing any of these issues, the first step would be to snake the line to see if it's just a blockage, which one of our drain techs can do for only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
This summer, celebrate America 250 somewhere truly unforgettable. Bryce Canyon. Stay at Ruby's Inn, the closest lodging to the park, where you'll enjoy comfortable rooms, free hot breakfast, an indoor pool, and easy access to hiking, horseback riding, and gorgeous views. And mark your calendar for July 10th, when the Utah Symphony performs a free concert on the rim of Bryce Canyon, honoring 250 years of America in one of the most spectacular settings on Earth. Make it a summer to remember at Ruby's Inn, where you'll get more Bryce for your buck. Plus, enter to win the ultimate getaway, 2 nights at Ruby's Inn and a $500 gift card for dining and activities. Celebrate America. Experience Bryce Canyon. Plan your trip now at rubysinn.com. That's rubysinn.com.
The Ute Stampede Rodeo and Extreme Bulls is back July 8th through 11th. Tickets are going fast. Don't miss out. UteStampedeRodeo.com. UteStampedeRodeo.com.
My name is Dale Pazinski. I volunteer with United Way to help the homeless in my community learn computer skills and build a basic resume. I don't just wear this shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
An expanded Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
Political ads dominate the airwaves and our social media pages during election season. That's nothing new. But what is new is the growing prevalence of AI deepfake ads.
And new research out of Utah Valley University finds that voters aren't as great as picking out fake ads as they are the real ones, and that's causing some real issues as we move towards Election Day.
In fact, and here's a startling finding from this study, deepfake videos got equal or even higher credibility scores compared to their real counterparts, meaning voters often think a deepfake AI video is legitimate and that the real one is not.
Yeah, fallen for it myself. You
I
never
know,
know. I think it's going to be a real problem.
I think it really is going to be a big problem. In fact, I think it already is a problem, and I think we're going to see that play out. So Brandon Amaker is joining us. He's the director of the Emerging Tech Policy Lab at Utah Valley University, and he was key to this research. Thanks for joining us, Brandon.
Thank you for having me.
So can you just give us an overview of this study that you just released and talked about?
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of years ago, we really started seeing this problem on the horizon, and we're beginning to see, hey, these are actually getting pretty good and getting pretty convincing. So we started testing them. First was kind of just to test their impact on people. How do they affect people when they're in a non-state of consciousness? That was about 2 years ago. But this one, we really wanted to shift it to, hey, are these actually capable of changing people's opinions? And then also, are there certain groups who are better at detecting this as opposed to other groups? Can we identify kind of the pocket where this problem might actually exist? And what we found was that in terms of changing people's opinions on an election, a simulated election topic, there is no difference between a real video and a deepfake in how persuasive or how influential they are on people changing their opinions. And two, we found that really demographically, it is not constrained to just the elderly, which I think is a myth that a lot of people have heard out there. Like older communities are much more prone to being deceived, or any political party or any other subgroup that we really tested for. And even beyond that, education level or familiarity with deepfakes was actually not very helpful in improving people's accurate detection of what type of media they had seen, which was very surprising to us.
So, Brandon, I like to think that I can tell the difference, but what you're telling us based on these stats that it really doesn't make a difference between the deepfake and a real ad is that people are not able to discern the difference.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, those who claimed that they were not at all familiar with deepfakes actually had a higher correct rate than those who claimed that they were extremely or very familiar with deepfakes, which is a little bit scary.
Yeah, that's it.
And even beyond that, it's interesting because those who were the most confident that they had gotten it right actually were the most likely to get it wrong. They were 3 times more likely to have gotten it wrong than those who said they were not confident at all.
That that right there speaks to our own blindness, right? To where maybe our weaknesses are. So can you talk to us just a little bit about the James Tallarico ad, or any of the ads that you are seeing right now playing out in political races?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's actually becoming quite a prolific problem, right? It's rather ubiquitous now, everywhere from small municipal elections to primary elections to, large presidential, country governing elections. But something that I wanted to point out, and I think that's very relevant about this study, is that we've seen a lot of these cases. For example, a while back, I talked to a Chicago mayoral candidate whose primary election was kind of affected by one of these deepfakes. But the issue was, after the election, this gentleman felt like that was what made his opponent win. And his opponent was claiming, no, that wasn't really a defining factor. Well, that has kind of been the ongoing theme, is that those who are victimized by the deepfake usually are going to say, hey, this had an outsized impact. This really swung things, and it really is an issue. And those who are kind of, even if they're not directly involved, they're the unintended beneficiary of it, are going to say, no, this didn't really play a factor. Well, that's going to undermine the general confidence in the election and in the institutions afterwards, regardless if you have this kind of contentious issue, which both sides are going to be playing on.
Brandon, I'm assuming that the technology is such that it's only going to get worse. I'm wondering if you all think, and I don't even know if there's an answer to this, that there's something that can be done. Is there some limitation or some notification or anything that can be done from the administrative level to say, hey, you can't do this, or to regulate it in some way?
It's a really excellent question. And the difficult thing is, I don't think there's a single answer that can address absolutely every element of the problem. Part of, I think, the proposed solution that you have to put forward is that it has to really be policymakers, the generative platforms, the social media platforms, and individual viewers all working together to address the elements of it that they have control over. Because, for example, you could have these AI generation platforms really try to lock down their product to not generate political content or to watermark the stuff that comes out of it. But for example, the deepfake software that we used here was completely open source.
Wow.
It's there, so there's no controls on it. It's completely free that anybody can download off the internet. And one of my students created the deepfakes that were this deceptive in one weekend on a laptop that was from 2017, I think.
Wow.
So it's not a high tech, super sophisticated thing that you really need anymore. Like, it's very accessible.
So I wanted to ask you a question about what maybe your take is on what voters can do. So especially since we're talking about politics, but what is the best way for voters to not be duped by AI generated ads?
Such a good question. And I think a lot of it needs to be a little bit of a change in the mindset. For the last little bit, a lot of the educational content that has been coming out about, well, how do you not get tricked by deepfakes, has been focused on, well, look for abnormalities, look for the 6 fingers, or, weird stuff on the face, or the text on the shirt doesn't look right, or the voice doesn't sound right. Well, this study kind of proves that that is actually not effective anymore. As a matter of fact, we had a quote from one of our participants who said, "I'm familiar with common signs of deepfakes, such as unnatural facial movements, inconsistencies in audios. Knowing what to look for helped me more confidently assess that the video was authentic." And that was someone who saw a deepfake, right? Yeah. So instead of trying to pick out, one by one, I think we all need to be a little bit more humble and understand, hey, if you think you're too smart to get tricked, it's very likely that you will get tricked. And so don't think that you're too smart to be deceived. Be a little bit more default skeptical of everything that you encounter on a digital platform that does not come from a source that you have vetted and that you trust.
Just in the remaining, we've got a couple minutes, Brandon. Can you just tell our listeners how this study was implemented and what you did? You showed people various takes and had them decide whether it was legit or a deep fake?
Yeah. So what we really wanted to do here was simulate as close to a real environment where somebody would encounter this type of disinformation as possible. So we had 600 plus participants from all around the country, demographically representative sample. First, we would present them with a fictional ballot measure, something that you would see on an actual election ballot. And then we'd ask them, hey, how would you vote on this? Yes, no, or unsure. After that, they were randomly assigned to one of 4 videos. So 2 deepfakes and 2 real videos, 2 in support and 2 against. And that would then,
You're good.
Then we would reassess how they would vote afterwards. And then only then it would be revealed to them that they may have seen a deepfake. And then we would ask them afterwards, hey, do you think you saw a deepfake? And how confident are you in that assessment? So we wanted to simulate how people would encounter this type of information in real life, and because that is where people would in reality have to post facto go back and identify what they had seen.
So I have one question, and you had mentioned that there's no discernible difference really between the amount of influence that either deep fake or real ads can have. Can you tell us what is the percentage that these ads actually do persuade?
Yeah, so really the way that we calculated that is we took all of the results from before anybody had seen any of the media, and then we took it afterwards as well, and we took kind of the average absolute value of the change between the two. And for example, for all those who across the whole thing, the variance for real videos was 0.502, and for synthetic videos it was 0.554. So meaning that actually, if you were to take that average, it's not statistically significant, but the synthetic video did perform even a little bit better in terms of how well it changed people's opinions.
Wow. Thanks, Brandon. That was Brandon Amaker, a director of the Emerging Tech Policy Lab at Utah Valley University. What a fascinating study.
So interesting.
And a little bit spooky. When we come back on Inside Sources, we're going to shift away from election and spend the next hour celebrating what today is. By the way, if you don't know, a lot of people have the day off. It's Juneteenth. We're going to talk about what that means when we come back.
It's 9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Britt Johnson. KSL's top story this hour. The heat is increasing fire danger across the state. Stage 1 restrictions are now in effect for northern Utah. That includes some of our more populated counties like Salt Lake, Utah, and Weber counties. Under these restrictions, campfires can only be lit in designated fire pits. Fires in gas or propane stoves and grills, those are all okay. Be cautious of dry grass and, of course, no fireworks. In more local news, dead fish have been spotted all along the Provo River Trail west of Geneva Road, stinking up the trail and worrying people who are out on walks. Utah Department of Wildlife Resources Chris Crockett says the water isn't contaminated. There are just too many carp.
Yeah, so this is carp spawning season. Typically, they're looking for a little cooler water, a little different area than the lake itself, so you'll have them start to migrate upstream.
While they are migrating, they may come to a spot where they can't swim any further and then they wash up on shore. Carp is an invasive species, and the department is working to remove the fish and clean up the shorelines before they cause health issues. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Today is Juneteenth, commemorating the day in 1865 when federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas, to advise the state's enslaved people that they were free.
To mark the 2.5 years between the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation and the day the news arrived in Texas, Opal Lee takes a 2.5-mile walk in her hometown of Fort Worth every June 19th. Even at 99, she says,
I don't think I know everything. And teach me, if you will. I'd appreciate it.
The grandmother of Juneteenth led the push to make this a federal holiday. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Your money at this moment. The markets are closed for Juneteenth, but they ended really well yesterday. Everything was up. The Dow gained 72 points, the S&P up 80 points, the NASDAQ gaining 496 points. Coming up, we'll take a look at your Father's Day weekend forecast. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:32.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
Hey Utah, Jimmer Fredette here. You remember Jimmermania? When the building got loud, the tempo sped up, and you could feel something special was about to happen? That's the same kind of energy you get behind the wheel at BMW of Pleasant Grove. Quick acceleration, sharp handling, total control. Whether you're hitting I-15 for work, making the school run, or heading out for the weekend. Because great driving is like great basketball. Quick decisions, smooth moves, and confidence when it matters. And if you know my game, you know that I love the three-pointer. Catch it, rise up, let it fly. In a BMW, it's the same feeling. Smooth, precise, and dialed in. Like you're pulling from deep, and you know it's money the second it leaves your hand. The crew at BMW of Pleasant Grove makes the whole process easy too. No pressure, no runaround. Just a premium experience from shopping to financing to service that has your back for miles. So if you're ready to upgrade your drive and bring that game day energy to every day, visit BMW of Pleasant Grove or online at bmwofpg.com. BMW of Pleasant Grove. Drive elevated.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Auto loan rates as low as 4.74% APR. Here's Ricky Meese.
Freeway traffic continues to just roll along. Lighter volumes of travel out there due to the holiday. Main secondary is also looking pretty good. However, we still have the final cleanup of the rolled crash in South Salt Lake, southbound State Street at 3300 South. Give Dad the biggest hugs ever this Father's Day with a Minky Couture blanket. Save 50% with promo code KSL50 in stores and at minkycouture.com. The best blanket ever. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, we get into one of those really hot Utah summer days today, a high of 97 degrees and partly cloudy skies. It'll cool down for Saturday and Sunday with highs only in the high 80s. Right now, it's 77 degrees and partly cloudy. I'm Britt Johnson from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. Over me.
Well, today is June 19th. That's beautiful music, by the way.
It is.
Juneteenth, Freedom Day. This is the day Americans come together to celebrate and remember the end of slavery.
Well, it's really important, too, to note that there is a reason why we celebrate it on June 19th, and it's because it was that day in 1865 that federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas to say, the Emancipation Proclamation was 2.5 years ago. The Civil War ended 2 years ago. You need to let your 250,000 slaves go free.
Right.
And what is interesting to me is a lot of those troops were black troops, black Union troops. Look, we're going to have a special hour on today's Inside Sources looking at the holiday and the celebrations, but we're also looking at the impacts on Utah's economic outlook because of the black community and black-owned businesses and some of the unique family history challenges that come from those of African descent.
Yeah, I think a lot of people haven't, myself included, haven't appreciated or really recognized Juneteenth. It seems like a holiday that's sort of recent in the making, and a lot of people have the day off. Hopefully a lot of people are listening to us and enjoying your day off. We're here working because we've got a lot to do with primaries coming up next week. But Juneteenth is such a special day, we really decided to set aside an hour for it in our program today.
And it's important for me too, because I'm the mom of black children, but also because I would consider myself an abolitionist, right? I mean, I'm anti-slavery,
Right.
And I think it's important to recognize the history here and the meaning of this day. So one of the things that I learned as I was researching Juneteenth, and I've written about it several times for the Deseret News, but one of the things that I learned is that it has been a celebration in Texas for a really long time. In fact, it was the very next year that the black community in Texas started celebrating, so 1866, right? And it just didn't spread because there's just sometimes, I think, some cultural blindness where we say things like, well, how does that impact me?
Right. And you know, and how does it impact our entire country? It's interesting. We talked earlier this week, or maybe last week, about the Declaration of Independence and how we're about to celebrate its 250th birthday, and how the opening line, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, at a time when all men were not created equal.
Yeah.
But what prophetic words. And now today we would think, of course, you know, you couldn't even fathom that it's not like that.
I wanted to, before we have our guest join us, which is in just a second, I wanted to tell you about a poll that I learned about. So this was a Gallup poll in 2021. 96% of Black American adults knew at least a little bit about Juneteenth. That very same poll found that white Americans, 68% of white Americans knew little or nothing about it. 2021. Okay, just 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So we have with us on the line Betty Sawyer. She's the NAACP Ogden Branch President. Thanks for joining us today, and happy Juneteenth.
Thank you. Happy Juneteenth to you and the listeners as well.
So I wondered, Betty, if you could start by telling us why it's important to celebrate and remember Juneteenth in 2026.
Wow, that's a lot. But when we look back over the history of our country, from those first Africans that arrived in Virginia in 1619 to 1865 in Galveston, Juneteenth still tells a story of that struggle for freedom, justice, and equality. And I was thinking the other day, you know, we look 100 years past 1865 to the passage of the Voting Rights Act in 1965. And then we look today when voting rights are being challenged across the country. And it is a reminder that not only Juneteenth, but this notion of freedom, justice, and equality is just as relevant today, if not more so, than it was then.
What do you think is happening right now in the politics of America? And I know this is maybe a broad question that's causing us to rethink or revisit or look back at voting in a way that seems to be disenfranchising a lot of groups from and making it more difficult for them to vote.
I think we've heard this often since President Obama's election, and that notion of fear that have come across many, that black folk and other folk are taking over the country, and it won't be the same, or we will act in an unfair and unjust manner toward others, which there's no history of that at all in our nation's history. And so we have to fight back against that fear. We have to stand on truth. And the truth of the matter is none of us are free until all of us are free. If my rights are infringed upon, it's just a matter of time before yours are infringed upon. And so we have to continue to speak truth to power and do what we know is right to do for all.
So, Betty, I want to ask you, how can I, as a white American, most appropriately celebrate the day? How can I do it in ways that are supportive and encouraging and not inappropriate?
I think first and foremost, and this is not just for you as a white American, but for all of us, first, read some of the history, become more familiar with our history in this country and as Africans in the world. The other is start with your family and your immediate circle. Like anything else, start where you are and take that time to honor this history. Take the time to even speak acknowledgement of our history, because that's something that we're grappling with today. We don't even want to talk about enslavement. We don't want to talk about the atrocities of Jim Crow and the inequities that have been so much a part of our nation. And so acknowledging that, and as a person, a spiritual person, seek forgiveness. We say, well, I didn't do it. Well, we still need that spirit of forgiveness so that we can move forward to reconciliation, to do the work that we need to do to build this country into the great nation we want it to be.
Betty, we've got about another minute or so left here, but tell our listeners what you plan to do today.
Today, we rose our flag at my home to honor Juneteenth. Then I'm going to travel to Salt Lake to spend some time with the Salt Lake Juneteenth Festival organizers. And then I'm going to do a libation as a family to honor our ancestors and to call out their names, because it's on those shoulders that we stand. My parents, my grandparents, and we can start calling their litany of known names as well as those that we would never know that were a part of this struggle for freedom, justice, and equality.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. That was Betty Sawyer, NAACP Ogden Branch President on Juneteenth. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the importance and unique challenges dealing with family history for the Black community. Stay with us.
Hey, I wanted to give another shout out to Soda Diet Nutrition. I did this earlier today, but I can't thank them enough for what they've done for me, and that is to get me to a place where I feel better about myself, better about the way I look, better about the way I feel, just by losing weight. And I know that sounds trite, but it was something I couldn't do on my own, and I had to contact somebody to help me with it. Some of the people here at KSL said, try Soda, S-O-T-A. It works really well, and you don't have to go see a doctor and get on any medication. They will give you a diet plan, a food plan, and you can buy the food at the grocery store. You don't have to buy it through them, and you just follow it. And I did. I actually had a nutritionist that hooked me up, and she calls me every Wednesday, has me weigh myself, and she actually makes me take a picture of myself standing on the scale, fully clothed, and it'll show my weight. And it's really interesting because it goes down every week. It's gone down every week. Even after I quit, I got to my target weight, it's continued to go down a little bit. I'm like, whoa, what am I doing here? And she's like, this is what's to be expected. It gets you down a little bit more so that you can have a weekend where you can come ahead, get a little bit more, but you stay within that target weight. And I've been very good. I plan to stay here for the rest of my life. And that's what I want to say about Soda Diet Nutrition. Join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
My friend Joey means well.
Always remember that the early bird gathers no moss.
But he gets a little confused.
You know, you can't make a silk purse out of a wooden nickel.
Like Joey, many of us can be confused when it comes time to plan for retirement. When to take Social Security, how to use that 401k, what about the stock market, taxes, and Medicare? Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management can help to simplify retirement planning. His goal is to have you walk into retirement with confidence, not worry, and to address the number one concern among retirees today, the fear of running out of money. Call Galileo Wealth today for a no-cost, no-obligation meeting to talk about the details of your retirement. 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online, GalileoWealth.com. And remember,
one man's trash is thicker than water. Of course, water's not thick at all. It's watery.
1 in 5 Utah kids face hunger. And the summer months make things even more challenging because families can no longer rely on school meals to help them get by. These days, the situation is more dramatic than ever. That's why Utah Food Bank is again holding its annual Summer Business Food and Fund Drive, encouraging organizations of all sizes to gather food for donations for families. Beginning in early June and running through the end of August, the Summer Business Food and Fund Drive is your chance to make a difference for families seeking emergency food requests to help stretch their budgets. Rally your coworkers, friends, or a community group of any size to make a collection. Every dollar earned turns into more than $7 in the form of goods and services to help those in need. What are you waiting for? Organize your Summer Business Food and Fund Drive today. To find out more or to get ideas for your own DIY fundraiser, visit utahfoodbank.org.
Summer shines a little brighter in Logan, Utah. Start your day on a canyon trail, cool off by the water, or cruise into the mountains for views that go on for miles. Then wander downtown for local shops, live theater, fresh flavors, and a scoop of small-town charm. From outdoor adventure to arts, dining, and easygoing summer nights, Logan delivers the summer getaway you didn't know you needed. Make this summer refreshingly fun in Logan. Plan your trip today at explorelogan.com. Summer takes center stage in Logan, Utah. Late May through August, Logan comes alive with theater, music, art, and can't-miss performances worth planning a getaway around. Catch a show, explore local galleries, stroll downtown, and enjoy a delicious dinner before the curtain rises. With mountain adventures by day and standing ovations by night, Logan turns summer into something refreshingly unexpected. Make your next getaway a little more dramatic in the very best way. Plan your escape to the heart of the arts at explorelogan.com.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
Well, as we continue our special Juneteenth coverage on today's Inside Sources, we want to take a minute to connect the present and the future with the past.
Yeah, and for this segment, we're talking about family history for Black Americans and how people can discover their roots, strengthen family connections, and feel a sense of identity and belonging.
We're joined in studio by Tom Reed. Hi, Tom.
Hi. Again.
Program manager with Family Search International, expert in African American history, and a longtime friend of mine.
Yeah.
Yay.
So Tom, I know, look, one of the things that I think I know you best for was you being brought in to Family History to do a project, and now I cannot remember. Freedman?
The Freedmen's Bureau Project.
The Freedmen's
the 10-year
Bureau
anniversary
Project.
this year.
Yeah, so 10 years ago. Really, that's really amazing. But I wanted to know if you could even just tell our listeners even a little bit about that and where we are with family history for Black Americans today.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So this year is the 10-year anniversary of the Freedmen's Bureau Project. That project was to index or make available and searchable names of Black individuals that were emancipated after the Civil War. The federal government instituted a program for the Bureau of Refugees, Freedmen, and Abandoned Lands, and they kept lots of records. The National Archives preserved those records, but they weren't searchable. And those actually have a treasure trove of information for Black families that are doing research on their family history. And so in 2015, we kicked it off with a big thing in California and got people around the world to help us index or transcribe the names and the dates and the information from those records and put them in a searchable database. And as a result of that, in 2016, when we finished 10 years, right, 10 years ago, we had 1,781,463 names that became searchable that had not been searchable before because of that project, which just opened the door wide for African American genealogy and for people to connect with their ancestors.
Why weren't they searchable before? They just hadn't been
They'd been
accessed?
digitized, but the names hadn't been pulled out and put into a searchable database. That's what makes genealogy fun, is when you can actually search and see the records.
That must have been a tremendous
and that
amount
was
of work.
before the advent of AI and the things that we're doing now. Now we're cranking out billions of records every year using AI. But back then in 2015, 2016, people had to do it by hand, and people loved it. They learned so many stories from these. In fact, one of the stories we told just yesterday on Family Search in a webinar about the King's Tree 435, which are a group of individuals, 435 individuals who were in South Carolina, and they were transported through the Freedmen's Bureau to Marlin, Texas. And it's that connection from that South Carolina family. The Texans are like, well, why are people from South Carolina? The South Carolinians are like, why do our people go to Texas? And the story was uncovered because of a Freedmen's Bureau record.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so cool. So we know that Juneteenth is a celebration of freedom. In fact, it's called sometimes the nation's second Independence Day.
Amen.
But how does family history help people connect to that story today?
Well, like you said, it is about freedom. It's about independence. And really, it's about thinking about those in the past and honoring them today, right? And that's what we do with family history, is think about those in the past and do what we can to honor them today. And much of that honoring comes by adding their names to family trees and helping, connect with other relatives and things like that. So I think Juneteenth's a great day to get online if you haven't already. Family Search is freely available. You can use other things like, Ancestry or American Ancestors, others. Get online and search your family history and then think about it was freedom for everyone in 1865, right? And this year we're celebrating America 250. So I love the fact that we have these two Independence Day holidays this year, June 19th and July 4th. But this is a great time to just connect with your family and understand their story and their place in time that goes back to those days in 1865. In fact, you can go on Family Search and actually see where your family lived when the Emancipation Proclamation was issued. If you have a family tree, you can go on family. It's a great experience that Family Search has provided to connect people to this important past.
Let's talk about history for just a second. And So we have the Declaration of Independence, and I know this is a little bit off topic, but I just love listening to your voice. So when we said, all men are created equal at a time when obviously there were slaves, we had the Emancipation Proclamation, but we still had to have troops go into Texas and free a number of people. And today we're looking at maybe dialing back some voting rights and doing some things that would, some people believe, disenfranchises black voters. Talk to us, if you can, about your view of history.
Well, I mean, it's, we've had some tragic things that have happened in our history. That's an understatement, right? The good thing is that we've made progress and we've come so far today that we have holidays like, and the fact that Utah, recognizes Juneteenth. You're going to be talking to some folks from the Utah Black Chamber. You were talking to Betty Sawyer earlier about Juneteenth. I mean, it's not about the painful parts of history. It's really about what we learn from those. And that's the same thing that we do when we get involved in family history. There are some unsavory characters in our past, skeletons in the closet. And as we uncover those, it's good to understand. It's good to know the humanity and the reality of who those people were. But we learn from those stories ways that we need to be today and how we need to be inclusive today and how we need to treat everyone equally. And that's, I think, the spirit of Juneteenth now. And unfortunately, it took a while to get there. Like you said, it took Governor Granger going into Galveston and saying that, but it happened. That's the good thing. It happened. And here we are today, that I can be here in Salt Lake City, Utah, as a black man speaking freely on Inside Sources with Greg and Holly. I think that's a beautiful thing to celebrate today.
So thank you for that, Tom. I agree. And, we've talked about the promise and the aspirational nature of the Declaration of Independence. And that's one thing I've been thinking about a lot, right, is it's aspirational. Yeah. What are some of the myths that people face, though, when they're looking at African-American genealogy? And I hear this, there's a wall. I can only go so far.
Yep.
Tell us some of the myths.
Yeah, that myth of the 1870 brick wall, that records aren't available, that, there's nothing for my family that goes back a certain past, is truly a myth. That with, again, AI technology and what's been happening lately, with people adding what they know in their own family tree, people are making breakthroughs that they've never made before. This King's Tree 435 is a great example of that, where it's not as hard as it used to be, and actually it's a lot of fun. Now you'll find information that you never knew was there. Now, you do have to come back regularly. All these companies are updating things. DNA is helping people connect. You have to go back in regularly. But once you do, you'll find that there's new stuff there that wasn't there, a month ago. And it's on your family. And it's even in, back in the 1800s and things like that are now being made available. And so grateful to all the companies that are supporting this and working together to enable these discoveries that people can make today that they couldn't make 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But that's truly that myth of the 1870 brick wall. We got a sledgehammer knocking that thing down, let me tell you.
And that's in large part because of family history, not necessarily from going through government records. People that were able to say, look, here's what I remember about my family. Here's what I remember about my ancestors.
Absolutely.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, you have things like the WPA did, slave narratives in the 1930s, talking to formerly enslaved people, and those interviews have been transcribed, and now we've got family trees that are being built from these stories of these individuals who were formerly enslaved, and that's accessible to us today. That myth that it's not there, that's a myth.
That's
So we're going to put you on the spot. How are you celebrating today?
I'm celebrating my daughter's 18th birthday today.
Oh.
For the past 10 years, I have been involved in family history-related projects on Juneteenth.
Oh, yeah.
And so this is the only thing I'm doing related to Juneteenth outside of my family today. But my daughter, Faith, happy birthday to her, turned 18, graduated from Harriman High. And we're going to be celebrating by camping in our front yard with her friends today.
Oh, that's fun. Happy birthday, Faith. I remember when she was a baby.
Yes.
Hey, tell our listeners what they need to know about Family Search International, how they can find out more about that.
Go to FamilySearch.org, and Family Search International, it's a free family history website sponsored by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You just go on there and just add what you know. It really starts simply. You don't have to be an expert. You don't need to understand research methodology and the genealogical proof standard, all that kind of stuff. If you do, that's good, but you don't have to just to get started. Just go on and see what we have. In many instances, we have information on your family already there because your cousins and them have all been trying to do this stuff and have come across Family Search. So FamilySearch.org is a simple way for people to get started.
Hey, Tom, it's nice to have you back in the studio.
It's always good to be
Anytime.
Nice.
When we come back in the next hour, we're going to take a closer look at Black-owned businesses and the economic impact Black communities have here in Utah. Stay with us for a lot more on Inside Sources on this Juneteenth.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Britt Johnson. KSL's top story this hour. We're starting summer with a good jobs report. Jared Mendenhall with the Department of Workforce Services says we saw the labor market expand with 17,000 new jobs over the past year.
We saw growth in the professional and business services sector, and that was about 7,100 jobs. We also saw growth in health and education at about 6,800 jobs, and then leisure and hospitality. It shows that people are still going out to eat and enjoying some of that stuff at 2,400 jobs.
There were a few contractions. Information and manufacturing lost about 1,000 jobs each. University of Utah Health has left its mark on the state's economy. A new study from the Kempsey Gardner Policy Institute breaks down the numbers and says that last fiscal year, the system helped generate $14 billion in economic activity and about 70,000 jobs. The report also says its role in healthcare in the state stretches farther than patient visits. 2/3 of Utah physicians were trained by U of U Health. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Gas prices are all over the place after the deal with Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. ABC's chief business correspondent, Rebecca Jarvis.
Prices of oil are started above $120 a barrel in the midst of this war. They are down this morning to about $77 a barrel. It puts national gas prices today at $3.95 a gallon. But keep in mind, there's still a lot up in the air here. Supply chains, they don't come back instantly. If you're a farmer who paid more for gas and fertilizer, or you're a grocer who's seen higher transit costs, they're going to pass those off, and they are likely to stay higher through most of the summer.
AAA reports here in Utah, gas prices are still at $4.10 a gallon. Your money at this moment, the markets are closed for Juneteenth, but they ended on a positive note yesterday. The Dow has gained 72 points and the S&P was up 80, the NASDAQ up 496, and oil is at $76 a barrel. Coming up, we're going to take a look at your weekend forecast. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:02.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
What if you had the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Thanks to the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, you don't have to worry about that part of your future. Now through June 22nd, get gig Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 years with equipment and unlimited data included, no strings, no commitments. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected from online threats. Plus, you can even try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account taxes and fees extra after 12 months. Regular rates apply to mobile. Select Xfinity. Internet required speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. $50 a month for 5 years. No commitments. Go to Xfinity.com.
This summer, celebrate America 250 somewhere truly unforgettable. Bryce Canyon. Stay at Ruby's Inn, the closest lodging to the park, where you'll enjoy comfortable rooms, free hot breakfast, an indoor pool, and easy access to hiking, horseback riding, and gorgeous views. And mark your calendar for July 10th, when the Utah Symphony performs a free concert on the rim of Bryce Canyon, honoring 250 years of America in one of the most spectacular settings on Earth. Make it a summer to remember at Ruby's Inn, where you'll get more Bryce for your buck. Plus, enter to win the ultimate getaway. 2 nights at Ruby's Inn and a $500 gift card for dining and activities. Celebrate America. Experience Bryce Canyon. Plan your trip now at ruby'sinn.com. That's ruby'sinn.com.
Life doesn't slow down. It evolves. And the best chapters, well, they're still ahead. Introducing Let's Get Moving, presented by Ovation Homes, a brand new Sunday morning show designed to inspire your next step forward. Join KSL's Maria Chaleos alongside Ovation Homes' Amber Weikstra as they explore what it really means to live with purpose, from strengthening your body and mind to discovering new passions, creating beautiful, functional living spaces, building healthy communities, and finding balance in your finances, family, and future. In addition, glean insight from timely guest experts, bringing real-life experience and valuable advice you don't want to miss. This isn't about slowing down. It's about moving forward with meaningful conversations, practical ideas, and inspiration you can actually use to create a life and home you truly love. Because your best years start at Ovation Homes. Start your Sunday morning inspired from 5:30 to 6:30 on KSL.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Learn how to save more this summer at uccu.com. Here's Ricky Meese.
No problems on any of the Valley freeways. We do have a crash being cleared downtown, 7th East, 200 South. And we still have right lanes blocked from the earlier crash this morning, a rolled garbage truck in South Salt Lake, southbound State Street at 33rd South. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A heat advisory is in place. Highs will reach in the mid-90s today, potentially peaking at 97 degrees. Some dry thunderstorms are still possible for tomorrow afternoon along the Wasatch Front. Right now, it's 75 degrees and sunny. I'm Britt Johnson from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
It's actually been a lot of fun this morning. We are continuing our special in-depth look at Juneteenth Freedom Day, a day celebrating the end of slavery in the United States.
In the last half an hour, we talked about the more historical aspects of the day, including a look at family history for Black Americans. And this hour, we want to talk about the current state of the Black community in Utah and the impact of Black-owned businesses. So we're super lucky to have in studio with us Dr. Sydney Shorter, President and CEO of the Utah Black Chamber. Welcome, Sydney.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
We're so excited to have you. I wonder if you can just start, first of all, I have to ask Greg, did you know there was a Black Chamber in Utah?
I didn't, and I'm embarrassed, Sydney, but I do now, and I'm glad you're here.
Well, that challenges me to do a better job.
Well, no, so we want to ask you, just set it up for our listeners and for us in studio. Tell us about the Black Chamber in Utah.
So the Black Chamber of Utah, our focus really is ensuring that all businesses are vital to the economic ecosystem. We call it the Black Chamber because we want to ensure that there is an identifier, that there is at least a space and place that you are a priority, but it is also a space where everyone is welcome because the ecosystem requires all businesses, all sizes, all backgrounds. And so that's really our work, and that's what drives it, because we understand that either you're going to cost the ecosystem something or you're going to contribute to it. And we want to ensure that all businesses are vital and contributing to it.
I asked you before we started what brought you to Utah and how long you've been here, and you said you've been here 4 years from Louisiana to work with the Chamber. I imagine it's a lot different. And maybe it's not. I mean, we have a much smaller Black population here in Utah than they would in Louisiana.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, population is smaller, but then that sense of community is still here. So it's really not based on the number. It's the connectivity. It's the intentionality around collaborating.
Good.
So talk to us about the impact that Black-owned businesses in Utah have on the larger ecosystem.
Yeah. So here's what I say. There's not any segment of the market segment that anyone wants to leave behind. And if you're contributing, no matter how small it is, that's how you get to 100, right? So if it's 2%, if it's 3%, it matters, and you don't want to lose that. But one of the things I think is missed when we look at that, when you look at the Black community here, the majority of the Black community here is educated and employed or a business owner. And so those are major factors to an economic ecosystem. So it does matter. And so that impact is important. You want homes bought. You want cars bought. You need those to make the grocery. I'm from Louisiana. I say make groceries, right? So those things are important. So understanding the dynamics and the circumstances behind the existence is important.
What does this day mean to you from the perspective that you bring from you're talking about the economic ecosystem? And maybe Juneteenth doesn't relate to that, but what does this day mean to you?
No, Juneteenth does relate to it. And what it means for me from a Chamber of Commerce standpoint, Utah has the #1 economy in the country.
Yes.
Why? So that means that there's opportunity. Everyone wants opportunity. According to Pew's research, 2025, Utah had the fastest growing Black population in 2025. We will go where opportunities are, right? Juneteenth is significant to that because you're talking about, although enslaved, they were workers. So they knew and had the skills. They knew what to do. They had the skills to do it. And so when I look at my foundation is entrepreneurial because you had to go and create and sustain and then ensure that it was a legacy.
Let me ask you, how can people of all backgrounds better support those of different backgrounds?
It's the collaboration. It's being in community. It's also being in proximity. You all will hear that again. I'll be back in about a month or two because you'll invite me because you want to know the announcement that's coming. So just remember proximity.
Okay.
But being in proximity is important, right? Because this is how we get to know each other. You said you've heard about me.
Yeah.
Now I am in proximity. So now we have an opportunity to take the next step, which is to build a relationship. That's really what business is built upon. And we create environments for all of us, all cultures, all backgrounds, to be in proximity of each other, to learn of each other. That's how we can really support each other. That's how we're in business. That's how it really works.
You're so compelling. What is your background? Tell us about it.
So I started my entrepreneurial journey at 7.
Oh, wow.
At 7 years
believe
old.
That. I absolutely do.
Came from a family of educators and entrepreneurs. The educators were the entrepreneurs. And I was given a job at 7 years old, but did not have the nomenclature to understand what was happening. But at 7 years old, I did not have a supervisor.
Wow.
I had instructions. So I was given a description and I had a deliverable. And my responsibility was actually counting and accounting for money. We owned nightclubs.
Oh, wow.
We had 7 nightclubs, and my responsibility every Saturday was to go with my mother and her sister to those nightclubs and count the money in the jukeboxes.
Oh, my gosh.
And I had to account for that. And every Monday after school, I was going to the bank with those bank bags. They never counted my math. They never went behind me. So that helped me develop entrepreneurial skills that I didn't know what that was, right? But along the way, I've had a very colorful, I would call, professional background from working in government, private sector, and then, of course, becoming an entrepreneur.
That's amazing. Wow. That is amazing. Tell us just a little bit about how the Black Chamber supports Black-owned businesses. You've talked a lot about the larger ecosystem. What specifically do Black business owners gain from the Black Chamber?
So they do have the opportunity for us to prioritize them, right? And having a space and place where you are truly heard and understood. So a lot of our work really is not just in supporting, but advocating for, but also identifying opportunities and connecting you to the right opportunities. And so I often say that our businesses do the work of their business, but we work for their business, because once we understand what your vision is, that we go to work to ensure that we're identifying those things for you, but also ensuring that even from an infrastructure standpoint, are you sound, are you solid, are you compliant, do you have the correct model? Is it really a business? Sometimes that's the hard news, to share. It's like, okay, we might need to take a step back, or maybe it's time for a pivot. But what you have is that energy, that effort, that expertise, right? Because we all need a team working with us. And even those solopreneurs who work so hard and put so much energy into it, you are confined by your own capacity. And so then we are that capacity for you.
We've gone over time, but I have to ask you one more question. I'm sorry. What are your plans for the day? What are you doing?
So today I am supporting a lot of our businesses. Our businesses are participating in the big event downtown at the Gateway.
That's what we're talking about next.
Yeah, so a lot of our members participate in that. So I go and I shop, I support, but I also kind of check in, understand what their experiences are, anything that we can do better, continuing to look for opportunities for them. That's what I'll be doing today.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us, Dr. Sydney Shorter, President and CEO of the Utah Black Chamber. And when we come back, we are talking about the big event that's going on downtown. Stay with us.
A family office is a team built to handle the three biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
The movie show is broadcasting live today from Sound Sleep Medical. We're at their Sandy location. They have 6 locations in Utah, though: Clearfield, Murray, here in Sandy, American Fork, Provo, and St. George. And I'm joined by Melissa Lowry from Sound Sleep, because we want people, even going into the weekend, this is when you get your chance to sleep in. For those of us who have to get up super early in the week, Saturday and Sunday are hopefully the days where we can make up some of that. And if you're going to sleep, your body needs to get oxygen, and it needs to catch up the way that it needs to, or else it causes serious health issues. I learned this myself. Melissa, what do you got today to help people get the kind of sleep that they need?
Well, you're right, Andy. I mean, you could take a nap, you could be in bed from 8 to 10 hours, still wake up tired because it's not really counting, I guess you could say. If your oxygen's too low because you have untreated sleep apnea, you're not going to feel good when you wake up, and unfortunately, if you ignore it, let it go, it's going to catch up to you as you get older. So today, with the movie show, we've got a great deal. We're offering your listeners a free sleep screening, which is a test they get to do at home in their own bed. Let's find out if you have a problem, and then we can fix it.
I was thinking, let's give some people some ideas. Because this is a free sleep screening. So if you have any symptoms at all of sleep apnea, you may not have sleep apnea. But why not get the test done for free and find out?
For sure.
So if you snore, if somebody's ever told you you snore, why not get it checked out? If you wake up with chest pain, chest tightness at all, if you wake up in the middle of the night at the same time every single night, I'm telling you from personal experience, that may not be your prostate acting up. It might be that you're not falling asleep the way you're supposed to.
Right. So things like daytime fatigue, snoring that you brought up, morning headaches, just not feeling rested, like I said, even after a long time in bed, let's get you a free sleep screening. It's at home in your own bed. It's so easy to do. And it's like any other health screening. Let's just make sure there's not a problem.
All right, the number to call to make that appointment, 801-716-8672. To get the free sleep screening and consultation, though, you have to make the appointment during the movie show today between now and 1 o'clock. 801-716-8672.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pump up the volume. Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Got an expensive AC replacement or repair quote? Get a free second opinion with Vyrock Heating and Cooling. Call or text 801-306-8360 or visit VyrockAir.com. VAIRockair.com.
Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, a gripping new 9-part investigative podcast about a serial killer you've probably never heard of, Warren Forrest, a sadistic predator who prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He hid behind the deeds of Ted Bundy, and he's only been convicted of 2 murders, but is suspected of many more. Since the release of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, a witness identified in the podcast could lead investigators to the remains of Jamie Grissom.
He ran into the woods. He said he stumbled. As he fell down, he looks up and sees the body of a young woman.
And now the FBI is testing forensic evidence that had been collecting dust for decades. This cold case is now red hot. Binge the entire season of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley right now, wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the latest breaking news.
The new Inside Sources.
Well, it has really been a fun conversation, and we've been talking about Juneteenth this morning. We want to remind you that it is, in fact, a celebration, and there's a lot to celebrate.
And Utahns are gathering in strength, artistry, and remembrance for the 6th annual Salt Lake Juneteenth celebration today.
So it's a great opportunity, as we just heard from Sid Shorter, to support Black-owned businesses, to learn more about the culture and Juneteenth itself, and to celebrate with your friends and neighbors.
And how impressive was she? I mean,
I know.
And comes here from Louisiana to work for the chamber, and it had some really fun stats that is Utah has the fastest growing Black population in the country.
Yeah,
and
not the largest, but the fastest growing.
Right. And that because our economy is so good, it's a good time to come here and
I thought that was
set
interesting.
up a business.
I thought that was interesting. So there's some interesting facts about Juneteenth in Utah. So it was 2016 that there was the first official celebration of Juneteenth in Utah, and it was 2022 that became a state holiday. And there's been a little bit of back and forth. Well, when should we celebrate? Should we make it a 3-day weekend? Should we keep it on the 19th? And one of the things that happened this most recent legislative session is that the state legislature decided finally that we'll just celebrate the day the federal government celebrates. So,
which is the 19th always?
Well, I don't know if it is always, right?
Okay.
Because today is a Friday. So what happened this week, though, in Utah is that Utah celebrated it on Monday, and the federal government is observing it today. Right. So there was a little bit of, well, what day should we celebrate? Anyway, so that's one of the fun facts about the celebration in Utah.
Yeah,
but
I know
it
my
is
wife
an
works
official
for the
holiday.
federal
here.
government, and she had the day off today.
But did she work on Monday?
Yes.
And state courts, I think, might have been closed on Monday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I do want to tell you, too, that Governor Cox did issue a statement on X for in acknowledgement of Juneteenth. And he said... Let's see. He said this. He said, Juneteenth, let's see. Oh, gosh. Today we recognize Juneteenth and the enduring promise of freedom in America. We commemorate the end of slavery, honor the contributions of Black Americans, and recommit ourselves to the principles of freedom and opportunity. So I think that it's important to note that. And there's also Freedom 250, right? We're coming up on the America 250, but Freedom 250 also has issued a statement saying that Freedom 250 honors the Americans who suffered under slavery, celebrates the blessing of freedom, and reflects on the enduring promise that liberty belongs to all.
What did you understand was happening over at the Gallivan Center today? Or was it
It's
Gateway? Yeah,
It's
Gateway.
Gateway, and this is the Juneteenth celebration. Hopefully we can get our guest on. But so there's going to be a walk. This is a community freedom walk, and it's going from the Capitol, the Utah State Capitol, at 11:30. It's about a half an hour walk. Over to the Gateway. They already had morning yoga. We missed that, so we were here. But then from noon until dusk, there are going to be just an ongoing celebration over there at Gateway. So there's a Black-owned business expo, there's a food truck court, there's an entertainment stage. They're doing things with Black artists also. So they're celebrating artisans and artists with gallery shows. And there's a fashion show. There's stuff for kids to do.
Wow, and it starts up at the Capitol at 11:30 to walk?
Well, the walk does. The walk starts at 11:30.
And it ends at Gateway.
It ends at
They're
Gateway.
walking there.
And then at noon, like everything else is kicking off. We're also going to talk about some other stuff that's going on in Utah, but that's one of the things. It's produced, the Salt Lake Juneteenth celebrations produced by the Beloved Community, which is actually a Utah-based 501c3. So Beloved Community, if you remember, was a Martin Luther King Jr. Dream, right? It's part of his dream to create the Beloved Community.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that. I was wondering where that came from.
Yeah, that's where it came from.
Beloved Community.
So I've been thinking a lot about our conversation that we had last week about the Declaration of Independence and also the differences between patriotism and nationalism, but that the Declaration of Independence is really aspirational, right? And remember, we had a great conversation with a high school social studies teacher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
She was so impressive.
But I've heard it from our guest today, right? The idea that what this country was founded on, equality for all, was aspirational, right? It didn't exist at the time. And we still are moving that direction. We still have work to do, but we've come a long way in trying to realize that dream. And I really like the idea that it's not only aspirational and kind of an ideal, but it's kind of a promise, right? It's a promise.
Yeah, and that all men are created equal. I mean, it at the time it was aspirational because it wasn't in practice necessarily with either with cultures and with genders.
Do you know one of the last groups of people to get the right to vote in the United States of America?
Women.
Native Americans,
Oh,
actually.
that's right. Yes, right.
So
talk about
Black men, and then white women, and then all women, and then Native Americans.
Yeah.
It's like they were here first.
Yeah, right. Why can't they vote?
But it's the promise, right? I think it's that promise. And so Juneteenth, we celebrate it in our family now, and we have done a lot with food. And so food is a big part of Juneteenth celebrations. And there's a red drink, and we make ours non-alcoholic, but there are, like, this stuff is delicious. It takes a long time for me to make it from scratch, but it's really good.
What's it called? Do you know?
Red drink. I think it's called like red punch or red drink, right? So I found a recipe.
Because one of our guests said libation. We're gonna have.
I know.
Libation. I wonder if that's what.
Probably so,
talking
because
about,
most of them have alcohol on them, but I make it, of course, alcohol free. But it is basically you're boiling fresh ginger and strawberries to create a puree, and then that's combined with ginger beer, and it's really good. Pomegranate juice, really, really good.
Sounds like
it's so good.
You don't want to drink too early in the day, but it sounds really good, actually.
Well, I don't make it alcoholic, so. Anyway, it sounds like we're having trouble getting our guests, but that's okay. I just want to encourage you, if you want things to do today, this one and our next guest who's going to talk to us about some things that the refugee community is doing in Utah, there are things to do. So Gateway today has, starting at noon, they're going to have all kinds of stuff for people to go and celebrate, to shop, to eat, be entertained, all of those things.
You know, I was really interesting to listen to, and we've had him in before, Tom Reed from Family Search International. And what he talked about that was so interesting to me is that this artificial sort of wall that we'd been thinking about, which of course is when slaves were brought to the United States. Can you find out anything more about them? You know what I mean?
Can you find out after they were emancipated? That's what they thought they were running into the brick wall.
Right. They were not going to learn anything. What they did was they found that a lot of people just shared some family history.
Yeah.
They started talking about their family. They started talking about what was, because the government wasn't keeping track of that.
And there's a great value in oral histories, and that's one of the things that one of my sons who was adopted from Africa, he was 10 when he joined our family. Mm-hmm. He had been taught by his biological family. He was a true orphan. Both his parents passed away. But he had been taught by his father to recite back at least 5 generations. Right. And that's where we got even the book of Roots, right, from Alex Haley, is those oral histories.
Right. Interesting. Well, as we begin to wrap up this week, we're looking to the weekend, and tomorrow is World Refugee Day. And so coming up on Inside Sources, we're going to learn more about the unique situation a lot of refugees find themselves in here in Utah when we come back.
It's 10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Britt Johnson. KSL's top story this hour. The National Weather Service has issued a heat warning for the holiday weekend, and that warning is starting at noon. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
Today, temperatures in the Wasatch Front are expected to be the hottest we've seen all year. National Weather Service meteorologist Joe Roster says this afternoon temperatures will be in the 90s.
If you are outside hiking, just hanging out with your friends, be sure to wear loose fitting clothing, light clothing at that, bring plenty of water, and limit time out in the direct sunlight.
It's not just in the Wasatch. The national parks are seeing extreme heat as well, with temperatures in Arches National Park and Zion expected to be over 100 through the weekend and into all of next week. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News. A U.S. official confirming Israel and Hezbollah have agreed to cease fire. Iran had warned Israel of serious consequences if it continues its campaign against Hezbollah in Lebanon. Meanwhile, the U.S. and Iran talk plans for today are on hold, and a growing number of Republicans are speaking out against the ceasefire deal.
Ted Cruz, as well as from Tom Cotton, who chairs the Intel Committee. Take a listen to what both of them had to say.
Giving billions of dollars to theocratic lunatics who want to murder us is an exceptionally bad idea.
We're going to lift sanctions on Iran's oil exports right away. And based on their pre-war rates of production and recent prices for a barrel of oil, you're looking at somewhere between $150 and $200 million a day.
The White House disputes those characterizations, but you are hearing from a number of Republicans as well as Democrats that this deal is a win for Iran.
ABC News senior White House correspondent Selena Wang reporting. Your money at this moment. The markets are closed for Juneteenth, but they ended on a high note yesterday. The Dow was up 72 points. The S&P gained over a percentage, 80 points up. NASDAQ was up 496 points. That's almost 2%. And oil is sitting at $76 a barrel. Coming up, it's hot, hot, hot. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:32.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
The Movie Show broadcasting live from Sound Sleep Medical in Sandy today. We've got Melissa Lowry here from Sound Sleep. Melissa, since the last time I talked with you, I found a study done by Cal San Diego that they found links between poor sleep tied to Alzheimer's risk in older women. Like, this was something that they just, I mean, we had some stuff that have talked about this over the years, but this is a new one that found even more links to poor sleep. And the longer that it's untreated and the further it goes, the worse it ends up being.
Yeah, definitely. You know, if your brain is not getting enough oxygen during the night, there's consequences. Things like anxiety, depression, memory loss. And then, like you said, Andy, more serious things down the road like dementia and Alzheimer's. It is not something to mess around with. And the nice thing is, You know, a lot of people think my only choice is a CPAP machine. That's the only way I can fix my sleep apnea, but that's just not true. Here at Sound Sleep, we do an oral appliance. It's like a custom-made mouth guard. You just wear it on your teeth during the night. Maybe you've done something like that with bleach trays or retainers or something in your past. Just wear this at night. It will keep your airway open so that those oxygen levels stay up, which means your brain's getting what it needs.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because there are some people who've done the sleep study, got the CPAP machine, and found that they can't sleep with it on. And then they're like, well, I guess I just have to live with sleep apnea? That's not true.
No, don't stop there, especially if you've gotten that test done, you know you have apnea. Let's get it fixed. The oral appliance is so much easier. You're lying in bed, you can turn right and left, get up,
big thing,
get up
me.
and use the restroom. You don't have to unhook and rehook up, and it's great for travel and camping, especially at this time of year.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that into the movie show, but here's the number to call to get a free sleep screening and a free sleep consultation from Sound Sleep, 801-716-8672, because then you can find out this oral appliance might be the exact thing that you need. The number 801-716-8672 to get this offer. You have to call during the movie show today before 1 o'clock.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Learn how to save more this summer at UCCU.com. Here's Ricky Meese.
We do have fire crews on the way to Spanish Fork Canyon where there is a fire by the roadway eastbound Highway 6. This is going to be east of Thistle. There's not a good shot of it, but we can see smoke in the area. Just watch for fire crews at the scene. You may see some slowing in the area. In Salt Lake County, we have a disabled vehicle southbound I-215's West Belt prior to California Avenue getting moved out of traffic, and a crash in Midvale southbound I-15 at the exit ramp at 7200 South. Weathers Construction creates stunning functional kitchen remodels fast. Call 801-548-8409. Weathers Construction. Build your space better. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A heat advisory is in place with highs that'll reach the mid to upper 90s, looking at probably about 97 degrees for our high. There are some dry thunderstorms that are still possible tomorrow afternoon, and it will cool off just a bit. Right now, it's already 81 degrees in Salt Lake City. I'm Britt Johnson from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
You can only imagine what it would be like to be forced to flee from your home, forced to return to another country for shelter and safety, and all with the fear that you may never actually return.
It's the very situation, of course, that many refugees around the world find themselves in. And here in Utah, we have house and support thousands of refugees from countries around the globe.
Yeah, I hadn't appreciated that.
Yeah.
But these are our neighbors, our friends, our coworkers, and they need our support and help.
Tomorrow, June 20th, is World Refugee Day. And so in this segment, we're going to talk specifically about refugees here in Utah, some of what they face. But I also want to make sure we talk about the party that's going on tonight. So we have with us Amy Dart-Harmer. She's the Executive Director of Utah Refugee Connection. Thanks for joining us, Amy.
Oh, it's always a joy to be here.
It's so fun to have you. So can you just start by reminding our listeners, what does it take for a refugee to end up in Utah?
Oh, it is a long process, and I'm going to keep it simple. But basically, refugees from around the world have to be in a certain situation where their lives are in peril. And they usually go to a safe secondary country and apply for refugee status. And in order to be granted refugee status, they have to really prove that if they stayed in their country of origin, they would be persecuted, killed, tortured. And so it's a long process, and the UNHCR, the United Nations High Commission of Refugees, operates the mechanics of determining whether someone qualifies for refugee status, and it's not easy. It can take decades to actually receive refugee status. It's not something that takes a simple amount of time. And then the United States typically determines how many refugees they're going to take, and there are certain criteria beyond what UNHCR requires for them to actually be able to come to the United States. There's like 5 different checkpoints with FBI, CIA. They have to do biometrics to prove they're who they are. So it's a long process, and it's a highly vetted process.
And I assume that there are refugees from so many communities, but it seems like there are some that are growing here in Utah. Some of our refugee groups, seemingly, you see them a lot more than others.
Yes, and I think part of the ones that we're more familiar with because of conflicts are the Ukrainian refugees that we're seeing, the Afghan refugees, but we have refugees from all over. We don't have a huge population of maybe Somalis or Bhutanese. We really do have a variety, but I just love the opportunity that I have to experience an international experience in my own backyard.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I realized that my introduction to the refugee space would come like maybe 4 blocks from where I grew up. And I just was blown away at the diversity and the beauty of these cultures.
Yeah. So we don't really have refugees coming this year. That has a lot to do with politics right now. But we do have a large community that has been here. And maybe if they've been here for a couple of years, can you talk to us just about some of the difficulties that people are facing as they're trying to make a better life for themselves and their families?
Yeah, I frequently tell people, imagine being, thrown into the Middle East. You don't speak the language, you don't know the culture, and you're expected to get a job, find housing, figure out how to navigate healthcare in another country. You can only imagine how difficult it is. And not only that, is they've come from a place where they haven't always had freedom, they haven't been able to do and go to school, they've had serious interruptions in their life, and it can take a long time to get on your feet. But once they do, oh man, they're amazing. So the thing that I like to say to people is every refugee needs a friend and an advocate. That's the most important thing, just having a network or someone who cares, or a network of people that can offer guidance in how to navigate this new trail that they're on.
I'm curious how Utahns are accepting of the refugee community, and maybe because you hear different things around the country, but how are we doing here in Utah in terms of welcoming?
It's really interesting. There is a refugee provider meeting once a month with all the main providers of refugees in Utah, and there are like 70 people in that room, and they all care deeply about this population, and they're doing amazing things. And largely the way they're effective is by engaging the community to help in their efforts. Like, we couldn't do what we do without an amazing, welcoming community. And so I think Utahns, because of who we are and how we interact with people, are really good at welcoming newcomers. We want them to feel happy and safe in our community.
That's good to hear. I was hoping that would be your answer.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there are some people that are challenged by it, but I think once you allow yourself to see the beauty they have to offer, like World Refugee Day, our celebration tonight is amazing to be able to witness firsthand dancers, the food, the global market, the international experiences. I mean, I wear this little red bracelet that is a Bhutanese tradition. It's called Raksha Bandhan, and it's where you promise your sibling you're going to take care of them.
Oh, wow.
And I feel like these are my siblings. I'm going to take care of them. So I love learning these traditions. There's henna. The food is amazing. I mean, it's just a great way to experience diversity. Right,
I wanted to just say I've been to that multiple times, and the food is amazing. Please go hungry if you're going to go. And I've taken multiple of my family members there, and there's something for all ages. There's entertainment, as you mentioned. There's a market. I wondered if you can tell our listeners, we don't have a whole lot of time yet. It's being celebrated tonight from 5 to 11 at Big Cottonwood Regional Park, 4300 South, 1300 East in Mill Creek. But what is one of your favorite parts of this celebration?
It's hard to say. I mean, there's a little bit for everyone. There are performances. The Burundi drummers, if you can see them at the beginning at 5:30, you're just like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. The samosas, the food is great, but there's tons of free activities. Like if you don't know what to do with your kids tonight, go. There's free crafts, there's activities. You don't necessarily have to buy food. There's a free movie at dusk, and you can be there with your refugee friends and the general community, enjoy a movie together.
Look, I've loved it, and I highly recommend it. So 2 ways to celebrate today: Juneteenth at the Gateway, World Refugee Celebrations at Big Cottonwood Regional Park. Thanks so much, Amy Dott-Harmer, Executive Director of Utah Refugee Connection. So we're going to finish up our week, Greg, by talking with the folks at the KSL Movie Show. The question of the week is, what is your favorite pick-me-up movie when you're down? Text us 57500, and we'll be right back.
Ready for your next Utah adventure? Enter KSL News Radio's America 250 contest for your chance to win an unforgettable Bryce Canyon getaway. One lucky winner will receive a 2-night stay at Ruby's Inn, the perfect home base for exploring the breathtaking beauty of Bryce Canyon National Park. Plus, you'll get a $500 gift card to use on dining, activities, and making memories along the way. Enter today at kslnewsradio.com/win. Sponsored by Ruby's Inn.
The movie show is broadcasting live from Sound Sleep Medical today because we've got an offer to get a free sleep screening and a free sleep consultation to any KSL and Movie Show listeners who call and make an appointment before the end of the movie show. And what you're getting tested for, I mean, it's a sleep screening. They're screening you for what is called sleep apnea, which is one of the most common and most overlooked sleep disorders. It's a fact that millions of people live with this for years, Melissa, without getting it diagnosed or treated.
Right. So let's talk about what that screening is, because a lot of people don't get diagnosed because they think, I don't want to sleep at a hospital and have people watching me and wires all over my body.
Which is how they used to do it.
That doesn't sound fun at all.
Yeah, and it's super inconvenient.
You relax
and
really
expensive.
well. Just take my word for it.
Yeah. So this is at home. What you would do is come by one of our offices. We've got a number to choose from. Pick up a little kit of equipment. Take it home to your own bed. And you are on your own pillow. You can tell us what time you're going to bed. So you get to have all of the choices, basically. But it will be a strap around your chest with a little monitor, kind of sits right in the center on your sternum, a pulse oximeter on your finger for things like heart rate and oxygen levels, and then a cannula to your nose to measure breathing.
Yeah, nothing's blowing in.
Nope.
It's just receiving, you blowing
measuring.
out.
It's 3 pieces. That's it. And you'll sleep with it for one night. Bring it back to us. We'll download it right there, give you those results. And today with the show, the screening or the test and the appointment to get your results, that's all totally free, no obligation.
I'm just going to tell you, when you do this, you're going to be shocked by the number of times that you're not getting the oxygen that you think you are at night. I've never met somebody who wasn't surprised at the number they saw. And when we get into the movie show, Melissa, you're going to tell us about people who completely stop breathing. And that number of how long you can stop breathing sometimes will also shock you. But we'll worry about that coming up. But you got to make that appointment with SoundSleep. Trust me, it's worth it, and it's free. 801-716-8672. You can get sleep apnea treatment without a CPAP machine through SoundSleep. 801-716-8672.
I love days like these at the pool, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. I'm ready to make a splash with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza. Skyrizi is a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. At 4 months, most people saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe, and many were even 100% plaque-free. People also saw significant improvement in psoriasis symptoms of pain, redness, itching, and burning.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Now there's nothing on my skin thanks to Skyrizi, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
The Management Minute is a service of the MBA program in the John M. Huntsman School of Business at Utah State University. I'm Professor Scott Hammond. There are about 4,000 books a year published about leadership. 99% of them are written by self-proclaimed experts who see leadership as a fire that burns within. They assume that leadership is located in us, in the head and in the heart. Well, they're wrong. Leadership, like love, is a co-creation. It requires a relationship. It is found in the space between people. It is a series of behaviors, not traits of an individual. Leaders don't fly solo. They need a co-pilot and a crew. They need to collaborate. Learn more about leadership in an MBA from Utah State University. Go to utahstatemba.com. That's utahstatemba.com. I'm Scott Hammond. Hope to see you in one of our classes.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Inside Sources.
Okay, Holly, it's time to get a little bit nostalgic, but we're also going to be looking at something old and something new.
Well, I don't know if it's nostalgic for you because you never watch anything, but it's time for our chat with the KSL Movie Show folks, Andy Farnsworth and Val Cameron. They're coming to us live from Sound Sleep in Sandy. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Okay.
Val's here too, I promise.
I know,
What's
he's here.
nostalgia?
He's here.
Oh, that's right. The cameras. I forgot.
There we go. Hi. So tell us what we're looking at and why is it nostalgic? Is
Well,
it a remake?
It's not a remake, but I mean, this is a movie franchise that started 31 years ago in 1995, and now here we are seeing Toy Story 5 in 2026. I mean, there's no way that anyone would have predicted this. First, because that was the first movie to do like full CG animation start to finish in theaters, and it was from Pixar. They told a great story. By not trying to make the people look real, it allowed us to not be creeped out by CG faces.
I think we
and
were
things.
all surprised that it looked so good.
And they weren't going to originally do a sequel to it. I mean, that was the Pixar's thing at the beginning. It was like, nope, we're just going to do originals, no sequels. Then Toy Story 2 made $1 billion, and they're like, well, maybe these sequels aren't such a terrible idea.
Isn't it one of the biggest sequels to a movie, like the money ever made for a sequel?
It could be.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if that was the case, certainly for an animated movie.
Yeah.
But let me ask this question before we dive into Toy Story 5. If you had to pick your favorite Toy Story movie, which one would you pick? For me, it's an easy choice. It's 2, but far and away.
Yeah, Toy Story 2. Oh, all around the room here.
So everybody here at Sound Sleep is all voting number 2. What do you think, Holly? Did you like 2 best, 1 best? You're not going to say 4. I know that.
I don't
Why
know.
not?
I mean, I liked them all. I maybe number 1 just because it set the stage, and I mean, some of that was just really fun.
Well, for me, watching Toy Story 5, I walked out of that thinking, if this isn't the best, it's just barely behind number 2.
Exactly.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
It's going to be in my top 5 movies of the year.
For that.
That's a great question, and that's something I've been thinking about all week because here we are on the 5th entry in the franchise. Some people felt it was perfectly capped at number 3. I was not one of those people. I was fine. You could still make Toy Story 6 and 7 and I'll go see it because I like these characters. But the other thing is Pixar hasn't rushed it. This isn't one of those things where it did well. It's like, okay, let's get on number 3 and get that into theaters. This is the 5th movie in 30 years. That means they're averaging about every 6 years, which means they're not making them until they have a story that they like, that they feel like makes sense, and they're being patient with it. And that's why I think it has done well because they haven't rushed any of it. That's what I think.
Well, and they focus on a new character every time, which I really like. I think that's what we get, a little more of each character every time.
And this time it's Jesse.
I have to ask Val a question. I have a friend who hasn't seen any of the Toy Story movies.
Friend.
And I'm just wondering, would that friend enjoy watching Toy Story 5 as it could be a her, first foray into the Toy Story genre.
I actually think that you could, because you still know without watching the characters. I'm sure your friend knows who these characters are because
there's a guy
they're
with a cowboy hat. I know.
Yeah,
that.
there's a guy with a cowboy hat.
That
There's
sounds
some
like
kind
Tom
of
Hanks.
there's some kind of space guy going on.
Yeah,
There's a
that's
girl
right.
with braids and a horse. I think you'll still kind of know who the characters are. And for me, it's the story about your toys and your childhood. And I like this one so much because it's a story about how the friends that could be your friends are right in front of your face, and how much playing is so important to who you are as a kid and how you grow up. And for me, I think that resonates for anyone. We've all been a kid before. So what Toy Story does and Pixar does the best is make you relive your childhood. And with this Pixar movie, they waited at least 20 minutes to make you cry, but when you got into it, it wasn't like the first 10 minutes. You got at least 20 minutes in, and then the tears, and then they pull the water out.
Aw.
And to me, I just laughed through the whole thing. And my wife, who never laughs out loud at movies, she hardly ever watches any movies, but she never laughs out loud. She was laughing out loud. I was making notes in my mind. Okay, she's laughing out loud because I was already. I mean, I'm one of those people that you go to the movie with me because then you might laugh at the movie more because I'm like, if
You
it's
are that
funny,
guy?
I'll laugh out loud. And so then you're like, oh, okay, I guess that is sort of funny.
So you'll laugh and cry watching this movie?
It's happy tears. It's not like sad tears. It's like, oh, that's yes, they know me. I got that. It's not
And
like sad tears.
Conan O'Brien voices a character that I want you to discover for yourself, but
Yes.
I want to tell you about it so bad, but I will let you discover it for yourself because, I mean, unless you've read something about the movie, you have no idea what character he's going to voice, and it is funny.
Well, I hope I'm not spoiling anything by saying I've seen at least a little bit of the preview stuff, and it has to do with electronics being introduced. And to me, it just, we're going to go see it for sure. Our family's going to see it. But it feels so timely, right? Because,
Yes.
I mean, I look at our own 11-year-old, and she doesn't play with toys like the older kids did. She plays with electronics.
And that's the thing I think that'll resonate. The other thing is having a franchise like this that's 30 years old means that people who were 10-year-olds or 5-year-olds in 1995 now are taking their own 5-year-olds to go see Toy Story 5. So they're going to relate. They're already, invested in the characters, and then they're going to get to see the very thing that they're seeing as parents playing out in front of them. This is a franchise. Maybe by choosing toys, this was brilliance on their part because then it makes it basically, it has an endless lifespan.
Exactly.
All right, I want to ask you about the question. What's your question this week?
What is your favorite pick-me-up movie when you're down?
Okay, so when I get down, it's because I'm about to start a trial, and I'm like just a mess. I'm a train wreck. So this is the movie that I watch. Of course, it's also my favorite lawyer movie. You guys might not remember this one, but it picks me up, it gets me stoked, and it gets me ready for battle.
They say act as if you had faith. Faith will be given to you. If we are to have faith in justice, we need only to believe in ourselves and act with justice. See, I believe there is justice in our hearts.
Okay, that's the greatest.
So I could hear
lawyer...
the black and white in the scratchy
that
sound.
was the greatest lawyer movie of all time. And that's the greatest closing argument. People ask me, greatest closing argument? That's it.
Justice in our heart.
Let me see if I can guess. To Kill a Mockingbird?
No. I mean, that's the schmaltzy go-to
Oh,
best
wow.
closing argument.
He
And
just
then there's,
called it schmaltzy.
And then there's, what's the one with, what's his name? Matthew McConaughey. He does a great closing argument also that everybody goes to.
Okay, well, tell us what it is.
It's Paul Newman in The Verdict.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. No,
I need to put that on my list
Never
to
mind.
go watch
you
again.
gotta watch that movie. You gotta watch
That's
that movie.
fair. We've told you to watch
it on my
movies.
I
list.
think you'll recognize mine.
I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. And yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm
pick me up. Yeah. And it's just like you can blast the music loud and sing along with it. I really love it.
There's a new documentary about this movie and how it was put together. I watched it yesterday called Hamilton and Hip Hop.
Yeah.
And you need to watch it. It's literally only like 40 minutes.
It's just really great, and I did have an opportunity to see it. I saw it in San Francisco as a Broadway production there. I guess it's not Broadway, but whatever, San Francisco, with some of my girlfriends. Really fun, but I also enjoyed the way they did it in a movie presentation and just the soundtrack. So I have lots, but I wanted to go with something that was maybe different than I have picked before. So there you go.
I like it. Those are good choices.
All
The
right,
Verdict.
how about you
I gotta
guys? We
watch
only
that.
have, 30 seconds for both of you.
Mine is usually Pride and Prejudice. However, 2 nights ago, I tried something new that I hadn't watched in a while, and it's Some Like It Hot, and that might be
Whoa.
my new pick-me-up movie. I haven't watched it in years, and my husband
is a
sat
great
down and
movie.
watched it with me, and we're laughing, and we're having a good time watching it, so that might be my new one.
I did not realize he was doing a Cary
Andy,
Grant
you have
impression.
10 seconds.
10 seconds for me, Mask of Zorro. It'll always pick me up.
That's funny, actually.
Okay, you got to watch The Verdict because it is the movie that gets me rolling if I'm about to.
I will next time I go into court.
When I need to get my game face. Yeah, and then when you ever want to go to court, Andy.
All right, you guys are the best. We're going to wrap our inside sources up for the week and turn it over to the movie show. So stay tuned, and there are already text responses to your question of the week. Thanks